Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Thira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Thira Vanachari Thira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Thira Vanachari Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Amuna Thira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Nityalila Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Asashata Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nityalila Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Asashata Srimad Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namachaya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Chamakund Radha Kund Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Mathura Dhama Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dhama Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Jai. Gangamaye Ki Jai. Yamunamaye Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Oh, glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 14, Text 41. The chapter is called Pregnancy of Deity in the Evening. Tada Vishveshwaraha Krutho Bhagavaloka Bhavanaha Anishyati Avatiryaso Yotadrin Shataparvadrik Tada Vishveshwara Krutho Bhagavaloka Bhavanaha Anishyati Avatiryaso Yotadrin Shataparvadrik Tada Vishveshwaraha Krutho Bhagavaloka Bhavanaha Anishyati Avatiryaso Yotadrin Shataparvadrik. Tada, at that time, Vishva Ishvaraha, the Lord of the universe, Krudadaha, in great anger, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lokabhavanaha, desiring the welfare of the people in general, Anishyati, will and kill, Avatirya, descending himself, Asau, he, Yatha, as if, Adrin, the mountains, Sata Parvadrik, the controller of the thunderbolt. Translation. At that time, the Lord of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the well-wisher of all living entities, will descend and kill them, just as Indra smashes the mountains with his thunderbolts. Please repeat. At that time, the Lord of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the well-wisher of all living entities, will descend and kill them, just as Indra smashes the mountains with his thunderbolts. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 8, the Lord descends as an incarnation to deliver the devotees and kill the miscreants. The Lord of the universe and of everything would appear to kill the sons of Diti because of their offending the devotees of the Lord. There are many agents of the Lord, such as Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Goddess Durga, and Kali, who can chastise any formidable miscreants in the world. The example of the mountains being smashed by a thunderbolt is very appropriate. The mountain is considered the most strongly built body within the universe, yet it can be easily smashed by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not need to descend in order to kill any strongly built body. He comes down just for the sake of his devotees. Everyone is subject to the miseries offered by material nature. But because the activities of the miscreants, such as killing innocent people, animals, or torturing women, are harmful to everyone and are therefore a source of pain for the devotees, the Lord comes down. He descends only to give relief to his ardent devotees. The killing of the miscreant by the Lord is also the mercy of the Lord towards the miscreant, although apparently the Lord takes the side of the devotee. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference between his activities of killing the miscreants and favoring the devotees. I read the verse again. At that time, the Lord of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the well-wisher of all living entities, will descend and kill them, just as Indra smashes the mountains with his thunderbolts. So, the famous shloka in Bhagavad Gita, which we often recite, chapter 4, verse 8, Parit pranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadukshritam dharma samtha panarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Translation: to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So this is Krishna's statement, very clear, that whenever there is a decline in religious principles, the Lord personally makes arrangement, either directly descends. We have classic examples, Yuga avatars. They come time to time, scheduled. They have multifunction and multi-purpose. The reasons, they have confidential reasons, and also, as Krishna himself says, to annihilate the miscreants, which is also necessary. It is actually quite necessary, because the material world is such, as Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, in a chapter, the divine and demoniac natures. And we can see from the narrations of the Bhagavatam, not to speak of the Puranas, where so many stories taking place, where the Lord has to interfere in the activities of the Asuric division, the Asuric class, because they are there. We are in the material world, and there's a reason we are here. This tendency to lord it over, which culminates in very demoniac consciousness, unfortunately. We can see the material world having this duality, good and evil, which is present in many different levels, including in a very subtle level, even within our own hearts and consciousness. If we are truly honest with ourselves, we can see these dualities even every moment. They're conflicting emotions about whether we actually surrendering to the supreme will, the supreme order, coming down through the spiritual master, or we concoct ideas to avoid the surrender, which we may not even realize. So we can see that there is a conflict in the material world, in a micro scale within our consciousness, or in a macro scale, even in a universal scale, and we see that asuras are causing trouble. And as we see that the asuras have a particular purpose, which always comes down to lord it over the material nature, imitating the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is the greatest mistake one can make in the material world, because no one can surpass the Supreme Controller, Parama Ishvaraha. No one can control. But the material world is created for such purpose. There'll be rebellious living entities coming down to exhibit their intention to lord it over. So obviously the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna himself, and in the material world as Lord Narayan, facilitates the journey of these living entities. Whether they want to harm, whether they want to be righteous, they want to be devotees, or they want to be miscreants, as Krishna says. But again, Krishna, through his agencies, as Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, that the Lord does not have to come down personally to annihilate these Asuric class. He has agencies in many different levels. And they have the Ishwaras, the Devas, who actually have a function, and they also participate in chastisement or creating an atmosphere which is conducive. If the demigods are pleased, then so many things beneficial for the living entities. And there is Pancha Mahayagna mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. In former ages, the the pious persons, they offered respects, awe and reverence to the controllers of nature. But even higher than that, when one recognizes the supreme Mahapurusha, the supreme enjoyer, the controller of Prakriti, the cause of all causes, Shrava Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes, Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. Krishna himself is a very mysterious person, even in the Vedic literatures, because everyone knew Krishna as Lord Narayan. But Krishna himself is somehow or other hidden. Only a very, very fortunate soul who is blessed by Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Guru and Gauranga's mercy had this access to the confidential pastimes. Krishna and his Goloka Vrindavan pastimes. Nevertheless, as this chapter explains, that as the story unfolds, as we read on, Diti, unfortunately, being a woman, a motherly nature, she was not considering the scientific factors, muhurta calculation, or the auspiciousness or inauspiciousness of the time. Kashyapa Muni was not strong enough to stop this, although he was, of course, a very exalted Muni, great personality, great devotee. He had the power, but obviously he's also part of this arrangement by the Supreme Lord. One thing we need to also realize that all these pastimes taking place by the supreme design, supreme plan of Lord Narayan. Because for the demos to take place has to be an arrangement also. As we can see, Lord Brahma, his body, and how the personalities, how the devas, and even the varnas, ashrams coming out of his bodily limbs, the kshatriyas from his arm, the sudras from his leg, the brahmanas from his mouth, Vedic hymns, Purusha Shuktam, glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can see that the asuras also come out, often in not a very pleasant way, from the armpit. So we can see that everyone has a place in the material world. It is a place of duality. We can see constantly we face in duality. Every moment, some kind of happiness or distress or discomfort. Emotions are bothering us because we have a long journey in the material world. We're carrying on samskaras, impressions from our past lives. And often these impressions imprinted in the consciousness of the living entity in a subtle form carries on. And as we know from Krishna's teachings in the Bhagavad Gita, that the whole material world is governed by the three gunas, the three modes of material nature. There's a matrix of these gunas in this material world. And according to the desire of the living entities, not to speak of the resultant actions of the living entities, they are placed in certain positions. For example, in Satya Yuga, the mainly rishis, great personalities, great munis, yogis, Vishwamitra Muni, Vasistha Muni, great personalities, they were naturally creating the atmosphere of mode of goodness. But in Trecha Yuga, especially when Lord Ramachandra appeared, we can see that the varnas, the modes becoming more visible, the nature, the symptoms of the three modes of material nature. The Kshatriyas, the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, Sudras. So the division of Varna, ashram, became more visible. In Satya Yuga wasn't so, because they're all Brahmanas, more or less. They're more pure, sattvic. In Satya Yuga, you can see there's a decline in the state of consciousness. In a macro scale, the populace already get affected by some level of mode of ignorance and mode of passion. Therefore, the asuras are also manifesting gradually. And Dwapara Yuga is even more decline, although they're still very sattvic comparatively. And by the time they arrive in Kali Yuga, it's mainly Tama and Raja, minimal goodness. One has to search for mode of goodness. One has to study about mode of goodness, even just about mode of goodness, how to be healthy, how to go back to nature, live an ecologically conscious, environmentally friendly lifestyle. We have to learn all these things. We shouldn't have to learn this. It's a natural thing to do. Not to speak of divya jnana, transcendental knowledge. Most living entities have no access, unless they're very fortunate. Of course, as aspiring devotees, we are eternally grateful to our spiritual masters and to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, giving us the ocean of mercy. He's the friend of the poor, as we sing every morning. He's giving us all the mercy to understand the true mission of human life. And of course, he's representing the entire parampara, Shri Parampara, a very powerful lineage. This is not an ordinary lineage. This is a transcendental lineage. It's a chain of powerful teachers, Mahabhagavatas. And within that, there are Shakyaveda avatars, great personalities, including Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who mercifully, kindly manifested in Brahma, Madhva, Sampradaya. So he recognized this Sampradaya. Lord Brahma, a great devotee of Lord Narayan, and Madhvacharya, who was an incarnation, a manifestation of Vayudev, great personalities. And of course the other Sampradayas, Sri Sampradaya, Ramanuja, they had the Sampradaya Acharyas, very powerful personalities, empowering the lineage. So we can see these Sampradayas are transcendental by nature, to come to this point in time so we can embrace Krishna consciousness, the opportunity of loving devotion service to Guru and Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So we are very fortunate because Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the opportunity to dwell into the highest realms, the most exalted pastimes of Krishna, which, if we study the Puranas, these stories, these teachings are very hidden. Unless one has a very pure heart to see this, it's not possible. We have to go through the teachings of our spiritual masters to have an understanding of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Pancha Tattva, and their message, and what they're giving to us the opportunity to have an access to Raja Lila, the beautiful pastimes of Govardhana Hill, cowboys, Krishna, Balaram, the Radha and Krishna. These are very exalted. That's why you can even see, not that there is disagreement, but there is differences of opinion even between sampradayas, because not all understand these very deep, esoteric, transcendental meanings here, which we can only receive through the Mahabhagavata, Gaudiya Vaishnava line. We are very fortunate to have this opportunity. We're very, very fortunate. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, giving us this opportunity that one day we're surely on the way. It may take some time. It's not easy. Krishna is not cheap. We have to show, we have to prove that we are very sincere and very eager, as Rupa Goswami also says, one should be very eager and enthusiastic about understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, and the purpose of life, and engage in devotional service. When we engage in devotional service, in the association of like-minded devotees who are very sincere, which is very important, we have to keep the association of devotees, because without that we lose focus, we lose strength. And we are in a very, very precarious position in the material world. Somehow or other, if we can remain tightly in the association of sincere devotees, we may not be perfect, but somehow we have sincere feelings for Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnavas, then Krishna giving us extraordinary mercy and kindness. We have to have that faith. Krishna is very, very kind to us. We can see that because He's giving us on and on, He's forgiving us. Mistakes, falling, whatever. Pick yourself up, be a devotee, carry on with great determination. Krishna is encouraging us in every page of the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. We can see the dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna initially chastises, reminding Arjuna his dharma, kshatriya dharma, fight for the sake of Sanatan dharma. But also encourages him because human life has a purpose. And to take up the process of devotion service, we need to encourage one another. We need to help each other. We need to take shelter of the senior Vaishnavas. They have wisdom, they have realizations, and we can get strength and determination. Determination is very important in spiritual life because obstacles and difficulties will come to us. Just like happiness and distress will come to us. We can't avoid it. But when we have clear knowledge of Siddhanta, as taught by Srila Prabhupada, his purports, his books, not to speak of Lord Krishna's direct teachings and reminder in the Bhagavad Gita, there's so many chapters reminding us, if we systematically and scientifically study Bhagavad Gita, then we'll understand that the whole Bhagavad Gita is culminating, is to help us, encourage us to fully surrender unto the divine, most divine, the supreme divine, the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself. When we have that mood of surrender, this is when spiritual life becomes dynamic. We have to have that faith, and Krishna encourages us. Just surrender unto me. Give up all these adharmas, so-called religions, misconceptions, illusions. I'll deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. He says, do not fear. Because we are very conditioned souls, we are fearful, we are attached. So what if I surrender? What if we are fearful? We don't have enough faith. But Krishna assures, do not fear, I'll give you protection. Give yourself to Krishna within you. First of all, the surrender should be in our hearts. Be very honest in front of the spiritual master and Krishna himself. Krishna, here I am. I've got nothing to hide. I've got so many anarthas, so many difficulties. Please help me. Please do not reject me. Give me shelter and I'll be successful. I have faith in your words. Krishna wants to see this determination. When we have that, our life is moving forward with great speed. Surely we'll be crowned with success. And the great acharyas, if you, especially when we read the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottama Das Thakur, extremely powerful songs and encouragement and expressing deep transcendental emotions and love for Shri Gora Nitai, the most merciful, the most kind, most compassionate forms of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahapadanyaya. We sing that every morning. Very beautiful forms is pure love, combined form of Radha and Krishna, the ultimate mercy that we can ever have. Prema Dharma, he's giving us the highest benediction. So we are very fortunate because we can distinguish between asuric and divine nature. And you can see in this purport that not everyone can do that. Therefore, Krishna has to come through either through his agencies or directly, either as a Yuga avatar, Guna avatars. They have many avatars for a particular function to annihilate the miscreants. And we have many classics. We can see the Puranas themselves, Nasimha Purana, Varaha Purana, Matsya Purana, Skanda Purana, Padma Purana. So many incidences, so many stories, history, Vedic history, when Krishna either as one of his Yuga avatars, as Varaha or Matsya, coming to annihilate these asuric class and to uplift his devotees. Krishna really comes for his devotees. He doesn't have to come down to annihilate asuras. He's got agencies, as Krishna, as Srila Prabhupada says. Indra can smash a whole mountain by his thunderbolt. So powerful. These devas are so powerful. They can do anything under the order of the Parama Ishvaraha. Of course, everyone submits to the Supreme Lord. There's no one more powerful than him. No one more is equal to him. So the demigods are there, and also various agencies and energies of the Lord. They can stop the demoniac. But just to give enlightenment or re-establish Sanatana Dharma, the principles of Sanatana Dharma, or exhibit his confidential pastimes, he comes down to enliven and inspire and encourage his devotees. His devotees who love Krishna, who love him deeply, they take great pleasure in these pastimes. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada summarized the most exalted pastimes of Lord Krishna in a Krishna book. You see, the 10th canto is a very exalted topic. And we have to gradually go up to that first 9th canto. We get the understanding of the science of God consciousness. What is the position of the Supreme Lord Narayan and his pastimes, his message, and his divine qualities. And by the time we arrive to the 9th canto, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, and we always have to say that because it's not that easy. We have to actually understand these purports. We have to go deeper than just superficial reading or recalling stories or verses. We have to go into the meanings of these teachings. And by the time we come to the 9th canto, hopefully we have a softer, purer heart to somehow relish these beautiful pastimes of Raja Leela. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada, and including Srila Prabhupada, they were warning the neophytes to be very careful to touch these topics prematurely without proper siddhanta, without proper understanding of the position of the Supreme Lord. Because we can make great offense. We can actually commit great offense, which is called sahaja. which is take it cheaply. We're not meant to jump into these topics without proper understanding. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada gave a summary of the 10th canto in a Krishna book, in a very beautiful storyline, philosophy with it. So we are very cautious not to offend Krishna, but at the same time relish these pastimes to inspire us. So when we read these beautiful stories, such a deep philosophy, that we get great inspiration and aspiration to be with Krishna one day, to be there, not just to relish these pastimes, but to have a strong desire to attain that position in Vrajabhumi Dham. Not to speak of returning to the Nitya Swarupa position, which is another level of realization, very exalted realization, which we may not have the access to that realization at this stage. Nitya Swarupa, when the original position of the living entity, where the living entity is manifesting his true potential as a devotee according to his position in his original relationship with Krishna. We have to gradually educate ourselves and seek the blessings of Guru and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and by that we gradually raise our consciousness and purifying our hearts. So we can understand that actually these demoniac natures, the demoniac qualities, really just for the material world, not for a devotee. This material world is not a place for a gentleman, not a fit place for a gentleman. So the living entities are confused because they don't have a spiritual knowledge, so they get confused with these dualities. And sadly, when the asuras, we even can see the classics like Hiranyaksha or Hiranyakashipu, not to speak of Ravana. They were the pinnacle of asuric qualities. When they control the world and influence everyone's consciousness. We can see even in our modern Kali Yuga societies, our educational system, our governments, everything is very much in the asuric projection, asuric governance, sadly. It's a lot to do with ignorance, of course. Ignorance is the root cause of this problem. Ignorance is the root cause of all suffering. But by transcendental knowledge, a living entity can break through these illusions and realize that we have nothing else to do except to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. So I conclude this here. I'd just like to say a few words about Abhiram Thakur, Shri Abhiram Thakur. It's a long story. I'll just kind of read a couple of lines. It's a very beautiful pastimes at the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Abhiram. We can see again when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaurya Lila, a lot of these devotees, not to speak of the confidential devotees, they're descending from Goloka Vrindavan to facilitate Mahaprabhu's exalted pastimes and the interactions. And even just before they're coming down to the material world, there's a lila right in the spiritual world, just like the famous example of Vrinda Devi and Shrimata Radharani. Vrinda Devi, an expansion of Shrimata Radharani, and the best friend of Shrimata Radharani. But there was a bit of a jealousy there, transcendental, sweet type of jealousy, competition. Because Brinda Devi was very much favored by Lord Krishna himself. And so Radharani made an arrangement that she can descend into to the material world, perform her pastimes. Of course, this is again a divine plan to benedict and benefit the whole world, because she's like one of the mother of devotions. She's giving us the mercy of Srimata Radharani, basically, and coming down to the material world, a partial expansion of Vrinda Devi, Tulsi Devi. Very beautiful pastimes in Padma Purana about Tulsi Devi, how she manifested here. Similarly, Sri Abhiram, who was actually an incarnation of Sri Dham from Goloka Vrindavan. There's a beautiful pastimes there. Sri Abhiram Gopal Thakur was also known as Sri Rama Das. He was a great devotee of Lord Nityananda. On the order of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, he became a great acharya and preacher of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He was a very influential personality. An atheist and blasphemers were very much afraid of him. Empowered by Sri Nityananda Prabhu, he was always in ecstasy and was kind to all fallen souls. It is said that if he offered obeisances to any stone other than the Shaligrama Shila, it would immediately burst into pieces. Wow. Sri Abhiram Thakur, also known by the name Sri Rama Das, was one of the 12 Gopalas, or cowherd boys of Raj. In the eternal Lila is Sri Dham, one of the key members of Krishna and Balaram's friends. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, there's a small town called Kanakula Krishnanagar in Hooghly district, where the temple in which Sri Abhiram Thakur worshipped is situated. The temple is located in Krishnanagar near Kula bank of the Kana Dharakeshwar river. Therefore, this place is celebrated as Kanakul Krishnanagar. The deity in the temple is known as Gopinath and is extremely charming to behold. Gopinath appeared in a dream to Abhiram and told him, I'm buried in the earth nearby. Please take me out and worship me. There's a big Bakula tree outside the temple. This place is known as Siddha Bakula Kunj. It is said when Sri Abhiram Thakur came there, he sat down under this tree. In Kanakula Krishnanagar, there's a big fair held every year in the month Chaitra, March and April, on the Saptami of the dark fortnight, Krishna Saptami. The local legend about Sri Abhiram Thakur is as follows. One day in Dwapar Yuga, Krishna and Balaram and their cowherd friends were playing hide and seek in the woods of Vrindavan. Suddenly Krishna remembered Nadia and wanted to go there and enjoy some pastimes there. Taking Balaram and all their friends with him, he adventured in Navadvip. Somehow, Sridham got left behind in Vraj and remained in his hiding place in a cave. When everyone was performing kirtan in Navadvip, Gauranga Mahaprabhu suddenly remembered Sridham. In ecstatic love, he shed tears and called out, Sridham, where shall I find you now? And he fell unconscious. Nityananda Prabhu lifted him onto his lap and brought him back to consciousness. When asked the reason for his distress, Mahaprabhu said, Where is Sridham? Tell me where he is. I'll go immediately and bring him. Mahaprabhu further revealed to Nityananda, he is living in Vrindavan. Go there and bring him here quickly. I'm heartbroken in his absence. Pacifying Sri Gauranga, Nityananda Prabhu assured him that he would find Sridham and bring him back to Navadvip. Nitai Ram set out and eventually reached Govardhana area in Braj. Nityananda Prabhu was wearing his usual blue dhoti and angavastra and had his hair tied in a knot on the top of his head. Arriving near Govardhana hill, Nityananda started calling out, Sridham! Again. Finally Sridham came out of the cave to see who was calling him. Seeing the strange man dressed in blue, Sridham asked, Who are you? Why are you calling me? Nityananda introduced himself as Balaram and said that his name was previously Balai. However, Sridham had doubt in his mind due to some different appearance and get up of Nityananda. Sridham said, If you are really Balai, then you should be as powerful as him. I shall clap my hands and run. If you truly Balai, then you will be able to catch me. Hearing this, Nitai said, Run if you must. Let's see how far you will be able to go. Clapping his hands, Sridham said, Balai, you will not be able to catch me. Sridham Gopal then tied his cloth tightly between his legs in a manner of a wrestler and began to run around Govardhana hill. After circumambulating Sri Giriraj 4 times, he looked back to see if Nityananda had caught up with him. Seeing that Nitai had kept pace, he thought, This is indeed Balaram. Sridham said, You must be tired, my friend. Take some rest now. Since I did not see your form of Balaram, I had some doubt in my mind. But you went around Govardhan 4 times. Who else but Balaram? Balai has the energy to do that, then asked. Tell me, why you have come looking for me? Nityananda Prabhu replied, Krishna fell unconscious because he could not see you. Sridham asked, Where has Kanai gone? Nityananda replied, Now everyone has gone to Navadvip. You will accompany me. We will have some special pastimes there. Come quickly. Sridham said, No, I shall not go. Going with you means that I will have to live in someone's room there. Considering the pain, who wants to live in that condition? I will not go there. Nityananda said, Just come with me and let us discuss the matter of Kanai. With Kanai, you can remain for now as you are. Sridham laughed and said, All right, then carry me on your shoulders. All that running has made me tired. Nitai said, If I refuse, then you will go around telling everyone that I could not carry you because of the difference in our respective sizes. You are the chief amongst cowboys. Please consider that you should be sympathetic about the happiness and distress of others. Sridham said, Well, you and I are just the same. You are very well know that when Krishna's side loses, I sometimes carry you on my back. Nityananda replied, Everyone knows that you are subjugated by Kanai's love. None of the pastimes that happen in Vraj, but by day or night, are unknown to you. All the other cowboys always sing your praises. Come now, let us go and meet Gauranga. All the 12 Gopalas, 12 intimate associates of Lord Nityananda, who are the expansions of 12 primary cowboys, Gopas in Krishna Lila. The 64 Mahantas, 64 devotees that are considered to be the most confidential associates of Mahaprabhu. You know you and sing your praises. Hearing these words, Sridham went and got dressed. He dressed himself in a very enchanting way. The beauty of his hair, dress, and cowherders' paraphernalia was extremely attractive. So the story goes on how Sridham agreed to participate in the beautiful pastimes of Gauriya Lila. So we can see that Mahaprabhu was surrounded by the very confidential, sweetest friends, Gopas, the Gopis, and they're taking different roles in Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And if you studied Gauriya Lila and Krishna Lila, we can see the similarities in tendencies. Who they were, and just like some of the very close Damodar Pandit, Ramananda Roy, and very, very exalted personalities, and their relationship in the original Vraja Lila, Krishna Lila. The mood remained the same, the nature, the individuality remained the same, just in a different form and in different settings. Because Mahaprabhu, obviously, he brought his friends down here, just like when Krishna appears, he brings his entourage, his family, his friends, and performing his beautiful lila. So, by chanting the holy names of Krishna, gradually our hearts will soften. Hopefully one day we're going to have tears appreciating these beautiful pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Sri Abhiram Thakur. We seek the mercy of the Vaishnavas and Srila Prabhupada. Hopefully we can get there. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think that time is running out. Hare Krishna. Yes. Sridham, yes, Sridham, yeah. It's the Gopas, 12 Gopas. Yeah. Yes. Beautiful. Hare Krishna. Just like I mentioned about Brinda Devi. When Krishna comes, and Radharani especially, they bring their best friends. See? Vrinda is the best friend of Srimati Radharani. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. One of the reasons. Yes. So this, you see, you can see the tendencies of those personal interactions, which originating from Vraja Lila, it's still there in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, just in different form and context. And we really study these Lilas with a soft, pure heart, then we can understand them. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada. Was okay?